Love is boundless. It transcends race and even species. The act of loving or being loved can completely change someone's life. In this case, one horse garnered the support and absolute affection of his fans so much that their life would be completely different if he did not exist. That horse was Nice Nature. In 1987, a Canadian horse by the name of Nice Dancer, who was well known as the son of Northern Dancer and having won the last round of the Canadian Triple Crown in 1972, traveled to Watanabe Ranch and bred with Miyuki Urakawa, whose pedigree and racing career was below average. 1 year after conception, Nice Nature was born on April 16, 1988. Fun fact, Nice Dancer is the broodmare sire of Tokai Teo. According to Watanabe-san, Nice Nature had no special characteristics in terms of appearance, but he firmly believed, I cannot explain it, but I feel there is something special about this horse. In his second year of age, Nice Nature was sold to Masao Toyoshima and relocated to Matsunaga's stable at the Rito Training Center in the summer of 1990. During this time, Nature's older sister, Lord Esper, severely injured her leg and was forced to retire after several failed attempts in her maiden race. This led the trainer Yoshimaru Matsunaga to be extremely cautious with Nature's training, and his debut was delayed until December. As a colt, Nice Nature was not that nice. He had a bad temper and refused to listen to the training staff. He often wrestled with the reins, ignored commands, and basically made everyone's life completely miserable. Some of the staff at Matsunaga's stable started venting their frustrations. This horse does not listen. He's too stubborn. However, Nature's stable attendant, Hideki Baba, refused to give up and continued patiently caring for him. Baba never scolded or showed any signs of anger while tending to Nice Nature. I think Nature noticed the distinct difference of attitudes between Baba and the rest of the staff because he slowly relaxed and started to trust Baba. Only Baba. If he noticed Baba was gone, he completely stopped moving during training. Additionally, Nice Nature would not even approach the starting gate come race time if Hideki Baba was not present. Their bond grew so close that Baba could take Nature out to the pasture without holding the reins. Nature followed him wherever he went, as if they were attached by an invisible thread. Everyone could not believe their eyes. The headstrong horse was acting as tame as the dog. The assistant trainer told Baba, I have never seen a horse behave like this. It would be impossible if he did not wholeheartedly trust you. The week before Nature's debut, Baba purchased Mamushi Viper powder and fed it to Nature. Mamushi powder is high in omega-6 fatty acids and other vitamins as well. It is known for improving the health of a horse's coat, cellular function, is a great source of energy, and most importantly, aids the inflammatory response and repair system. The powder was quite expensive, and there was a risk of contracting hives for humans, so many stables did not administer it to their horses. But Hideki Baba did. He used his own money to purchase Viper powder, which came out to 300,000 yen for a week's supply of 3 doses per day. Needless to say, his dedication to Nice Nature is nothing short of extraordinary. In the game, there's an Easter egg about the snake powder if you set Nice Nature as your home screen Umamusume. Nature's racing debut finally came on December 2nd, 1990 at the 1200-meter turf Kyoto racecourse with Masahiro Matsunaga, son-in-law of the trainer, on the saddle. He was the jockey for Nature's entire career except for one race. Additionally, he was the sole jockey for Nice Nature's mother. Unfortunately, despite everyone's efforts and preparations, Nature finished in second place due to his path being blocked on the final straight. Less than 2 weeks later, Nature returned to the same track and was victorious in his second attempt at the maiden race, but he came in at 6th place in the new year. 1991 was Nice Nature's classic year, so the team set their next goal as the Wakagoma Stakes, one of the trial races for the Satsuki show. Unfortunately, Nature encountered one of the most promising horses of his generation in this race, Tokai Teo. Although both horses were tightly clustered together in the final stretch, Tokai Teo broke away at the 200-meter mark and claimed victory while Nature was relegated to 3rd place. Not only did he lose the race and fail to qualify for the Satsuki show, but his legs were insanely inflamed afterwards. The pain must have been unbearable because nature developed a high fever just a few days later. Hideki Baba spent every waking moment caring for his bedridden friend. Nature was out of commission for 6 months and completely missed the first 2 races of the Classic Triple Crown. He did not return to the racetrack until July 6th, where he finished in second place at the Nadeshiko show. Even though he did not win, it was clear that Nature was fully recovered from his illness. Actually, that might be an understatement because he dominated every race he competed in while at the Kokura racecourse. Nature finished in first place at the Shiranui and Hazuki show. Oh, but he didn't stop there. Nice Nature championed the G3 Kokura Kinen and finished 2 lengths ahead of the next horse. A month and a half later, he ran in the G2 Kyoto Shinbunhai and forged a fantastic comeback by passing 5 other racers in the final 100 meters and won the race by 3/4 length. His victory at the Kyoto Shinbunhai earned him the right to compete in the last race for the Classic Triple Crown. After Tokai Teo's injury and absence from the Kiko show, horse racing fans turned their gaze towards Nice Nature and praised him as the summer's rising star. Unfortunately, the laws of physics and horse racing do not allow a star to burn brightly forever. Even though he was the second most popular horse in the Kiko show, he could not live up to everyone's expectations and finished in 4th place. 1 month later, Nice Nature redeemed himself with a strong performance at the Naruo Kinen. After exiting the final corner, Nature led the pack and maintained his position all the way to the goalpost. Naturally, Nice Nature amassed more fans with this victory, and they voted him in as the second favorite for the Arima Kinen. He hovered on the outside about 1 length away from Meijoro Ryan and Meijoro McQueen up until the final corner. As everyone entered, Nature was forced to the far outside due to the sheer number of horses crammed together in the middle. He was positioned towards the far back after leaving the turn, but Nature dug deep and forcefully accelerated his way towards the front. He passed 11 other racers, but it wasn't enough. Unfortunately, Nature lost the race and finished in 3rd place, about 2 lengths behind Meijoro McQueen. Shortly after the race, Nature's legs were severely swollen. Obviously, he would not be racing at all during the winter months. Just as his legs were starting to recover, his periostitis returned with a burning vengeance in early spring. Baba did the best he could to alleviate the pain and treat Nature's wounds, but there is only so much he can do. Nature's body needed more time to recuperate. He was forced to sit out all of spring and summer season. Occasionally, Nice Nature fans came to visit the stables and brought bundles of threaded origami cranes as gifts. These cranes are offered as prayers for happiness, healing illness, and providing sympathy in Japanese culture. Baba gladly accepted them and decorated the front of Nature's stable with the bundles. The game even references them during Nature's career by having the trainer gift her an origami crane after the Kokura Kinen. Finally, after 10 long months of rest and recovery, Nice Nature's first race in 1992 was on October 1st at the Mainichi Okan. Nature was quick leaving the gate and briefly followed the lead horse, Taitaku Helios, but he slowed down to a more comfortable pace and ran within the middle group. After leaving the final corner, Nature accelerated and passed several horses, but he simply could not catch up to the top 2. Nice Nature crossed the goal, 1 length behind Ikuno Dictus, and placed 3rd. He did not fare any better at the Fall Tenno show on the 1st of November either. Although Nature managed to place higher than his previous opponents, he only managed to get 4th place. 3 weeks later, Nice Nature found himself facing off against some familiar faces at the Mile Championship. The race proceeded as normal, with Nature running in the back half and making a mad dash for the finish line on the final straight. But, just like before, his spurt fell short and he finished in 3rd place. On the 27th of December, Nature entered the Arima Kinen as the 4th most popular horse. After being completely pushed to the outside last year, Nature ran farther up than normal to ensure his position next to the inner rail. He was within the top 5 racers after the first corner, but Meijoro Palmer suddenly took off and the pace was just too fast to keep up. Palmer's pace was so fast that everyone except Daitaku Helios did not even bother to try keeping up with him. Nature was forced to slightly veer to the outside to get around another horse during the fourth corner. Once his path was clear on the home stretch, he ran with all his might and tried to close in on Palmer. But there was too little distance remaining. Both Meijiro Palmer and Legacy World crossed the goal one length ahead of Nature. For the second year in a row, Nice Nature finished the Arimakinen in third place. He rested for 1 month and was back on the track at the Nikkei Shinshun High, but he still could not muster up a win and finished in second place. Not even the famous jockey Katsumi Minai, who was well known for riding Tamamo Cross and Oguri Cap in the late 80s, could break Nice Nature's losing streak. He also finished in third place at the G2 Hanshin Daishoten. When Nature ran in the Osaka High early April, even though he exploded past 7 horses from the far back, Meijiro McQueen was just too far ahead. Nice Nature came in at second place, 5 lengths behind McQueen. Unfortunately, his explosive spurt came at a large cost because one of his legs was fractured after the race. It was not a major fracture, but he was forced to take a 6-month hiatus from competing. Once again, Hideki Baba tended to his every need. Don't worry, Nature. You can rely on me. You're the strongest horse around. I know you'll get through this. When the public heard of Nature's injury, his fans began trickling into the stables to show their support. Baba gratefully accepted their kindness and provided them with impeccable fan service during their visits. Like a parent embarrassing their child, Baba shared stories of Nature's youth to his visitors. He even gave them used masks and saddle cloths from previous races. Baba selflessly shared his love for Nice Nature with the fans, and his own popularity grew as a result. People were no longer just visiting to see Nice Nature. They enjoyed Baba's company and hospitality as much as they enjoyed watching their favorite horse. Nature resumed racing on the 10th of October and ran in the Mainichi Okan, but he was defeated yet again. Care to guess his placement? Yep, third place. Again. On Halloween, at the Fall Tenno Show, Nice Nature chased after Twin Turbo and was at the forefront of the pack by the final corner. As soon as everyone entered the final straight, both Nice Nature and Twin Turbo were completely spent of energy and began falling behind. They watched every horse pass them one after another. Nature finished in 15th place, which is his lowest placement ever. His performance at the Japan Cup was also disappointing. He finished the race in 7th place. Despite his 2 previous soul-crushing defeats, Nice Nature's fans did not give up on him. If anything, his fans rallied together even stronger and secured his participation at the Arimakinen as the 10th most popular. 3rd time's the charm, right? Nature started at the outer gates and stayed towards the back in the early section of the race. Once he reached the middle leg, he moved up and aligned himself next to Tokai Teo. After leaving the final turn while Tokai Teo and Biwa Hayahide battled for first, Nature was busy fighting off Majikane Tanhoiza and barely managed to secure 3rd place by a head's length. 3rd place for the 3rd consecutive year in the Arimakinen. Jaws hung wide open. Everyone was in disbelief. Several horse racing critics commented, "I can't believe he managed 3rd place for 3 consecutive years. His opponents were different. The pace was different. His position and popularity were all different, but he still got 3rd. The fact that he ran in the Arimakinen 3 years in a row is already great, but to achieve 3rd every time, there is no doubt this horse has an unusual ability. It was at this time that Nice Nature earned his famous title, Bronze Collector. Over the last 3 years, he came in 3rd 8 times. He placed 3rd so many times that in 1999, when the Wide Bet, also known as the Quiniela Place Bet in English, was launched in Japan, Nice Nature appeared as the mascot. At the beginning of 1994, Nice Nature was already 5 years old and turning 6, so you would expect him to retire, but his body was still full of vigor. His first race for the new year would be at the American Jockey Club, but multiple horses passed him in the last 100 meters and caused him to finish in 7th. His performance at the G2 Osaka High was better, but the lead horse was just too fast. Nature ended up in 2nd place and 4 lengths behind the winner. The next 2 races were at the Spring Tenno and Takarazuka Kinen, where he placed 4th and lost to Biwa Hayahide in both races. On July 10th, Nice Nature entered the G2 2000-meter Takamatsunomiya Kinen. He ran in the very back of the pack when the race began. He was so far back that the camera never focused in on him until everyone was grouped up. Nature gradually moved up as he entered the corner and came out of it within the top 5 racers. Given his amazing position at the start of the home stretch, Nature's powerful spurt thrusted him forward and won him the race by half a length. After 16 consecutive losses over the last 2 years and 7 months, Nice Nature finally won again in 1994. Alas, Nature's strong performance did not come without consequence. His leg swelled up yet again, so he went on a temporary 3-month leave from racing. When Nice Nature returned to the track on October 9th, his losing streak came along for the ride. Nature finished in 6th place at his 3rd attempt in the Mainichi Okan. At the end of the month, he competed in the Fall Tenno Show and had an even worse performance. Nature crossed the goal in 7th place and lost to some familiar foes. Furthermore, when he ran in the Japan Cup at the end of November, Nature concluded the race in 8th, which was even lower than last year's placement. Despite his 3 consecutive G1 losses, horse racing fans still voted him into the Arima Kinen. Just like in his previous races, Nice Nature stayed towards the back half during the early and middle stages of the race. He hovered behind Hishi Amazon while waiting in the rear and only started moving up at the 600-meter mark. Half of the competitors were tightly grouped up after entering and exiting the final corner. 6 horses were in front of Nature when he began his spurt for the finish, but try as he might, he was only able to overtake 2 and cross the finish line in 5th place. In January of 1995, Nice Nature's owner, Masao Toyoshima, passed away, and discussions about selling Nature were underway, but the owner's son, Taizo, decided to keep him after he placed 2nd at the Kyoto Kinen on February 17th. Afterwards, Nature was scheduled to run in the Osaka High, but his left front leg had a small fracture, so all plans were cancelled for the foreseeable future. Obviously, Hideki Baba tenderly cared for Nature to the best of his abilities. 10 months elapsed before Nice Nature returned to the racetrack. Just like his last break, his return was engulfed with poor results. 8th place at the Kyoto Daishoten, 13th place at the Japan Cup. However, in spite of these outcomes, the fans' love for Nice Nature enabled him to enter the Arima Kinen for the 5th year in a row, which only 2 other horses have done up to this point in time. Unfortunately, love cannot win a race. Nature was overpowered by the other monstrous contenders and finished at 9th place. Surprisingly, his career did not end there. Nature continued running in 1996, but his best run of that year was 4th place. Every race after yielded worse results. 6th place, 8th, 10th, and 15th. Nice Nature fans cheered him on relentlessly through these difficult times and never gave up their belief in his potential. Their love for Nature prevailed yet again, so he was scheduled to run in the Arima Kinen at the end of the year. Everyone was extremely excited for his 6th consecutive appearance at the Arima Kinen, since this would be a new record in Japanese history. However, in the weeks leading up to the race, Hideki Baba discovered a crack in Nature's right front leg. Flushed with worry, Baba reported the injury to the trainer and a veterinarian was called. After a thorough examination, the veterinarian declared the fracture was incredibly small and there should be no problem if Nature ran. Baba shot up with a paternal-like instinct and firmly stared at Matsunaga. With tears rolling down his face, Baba desperately cried, "Please, reconsider. He has broken down so many times and we have been lucky so far, but I don't think he can take another one. If he suffers the same fate as Right Shower, I cannot bear it. Please, let him rest. After taking a deep breath, Matsunaga replied, "You know nice nature better than anyone else. If this is what you believe, then it can't be helped." Their plans for the Arime Kinen were cancelled, and Nice Nature was immediately put into retirement. Nature's final career record stands at 7 wins out of 41 starts. Over his entire career, he competed in 34 consecutive graded races, with 16 being G1. Additionally, Nice Nature held a 27-year-long record for the most prize money won by a non-G1 winning horse at 604.7 million yen. Of his generation, the only other horse that earned more prize money than Nice Nature was Tokai Teo. After his retirement from racing, Nice Nature would move to Hidaka Stallion Station in Hokkaido to begin his breeding career, but when the carriage arrived to transport him, Nature repulsively refused to board it. For the first time in 6 years, he did not listen to Baba, as if he reverted back to his stubborn ways before his debut. He stared longingly at his stable, and then to Baba. It was as if he had the foresight to know that he would never return and never see Hideki Baba again. When they finally got Nature on the carriage, Baba and the rest of the staff watched as it disappeared over the horizon in somber silence. "I'm going to own a child of Nice Nature one day," Baba expressed as he reluctantly returned to work. Even though he was separated from his cherished companion, Baba supported Nature in his own way. He continued sharing stories of Nice Nature's time at the stable and how he overcame great adversity. Additionally, Baba approached several toy manufacturing companies and convinced them to produce plushies and other goods of Nice Nature. At that time, the only plushies made were of famous winning horses such as Oguri Cap, so fans of less successful horses did not have much in terms of merchandise available to them. Without a doubt, Hideki Baba is a major contributing factor pertaining to the popularity of Nice Nature. The love he had for this horse was so great, it was contagious. 2 years after Nice Nature left, Baba attended a wedding of 2 Nice Nature fans he met when they visited the stable. The couple did not know each other at the time. They met and fell in love because of their shared affection for Nice Nature. On his way home from this joyous occasion, Baba drove along Oji Marine Road number 430. At roughly 3 p.m. in Kojima Kurashiki City, another driver swerved over the dividing line and crashed head-on into Baba's vehicle. Hideki Baba tragically died in 1998 at the young age of 41. Meanwhile, at Hidaka Stallion Station, Nice Nature struggled as a breeding stallion as much as he did as a racehorse. Due to the lack of offspring and their success as racers, Nature retired from breeding activities after only 4 years. He produced just 17 foals, and only 3 of them were able to win, but none were in graded races. One of those horses was named Saint Nature, who suffered 6 defeats at his maiden race. He finally won his 7th attempt with Ryuji Wada, TM Opera O's jockey, on the saddle. 8 months after Opera O's retirement, Ryuji Wada personally requested to ride Saint Nature. Why, you ask? It's simple. Ryuji Wada loved Nice Nature. His father, Mamoru Wada, was Hideki Baba's co-worker and assistant. As a young teenager, Ryuji Wada often visited his father at Matsunaga Stable to ask for some pocket money. While there, he was able to interact with and pet Nice Nature under supervision. Up until TM Opera O, Nice Nature was his favorite horse. Ryuji Wada has stated that his love for Nice Nature and the horse's unbreakable spirit is one of the reasons why he decided to become a jockey. In 2001, when Nature retired from breeding, the owner transferred Nice Nature over to the Retired Horse Association, the same non-profit organization that would go on to own Taiki Shuttle and Meisho Doto in 2017. Nice Nature was moved back to his birthplace at Watanabe Ranch. Over the years, Watanabe Ranch ceased being a horse production ranch because Harumi Watanabe discovered some of the horses produced by the ranch went missing. This was a covert term used in the industry to hide from the general public that retired horses were sent to a livestock dealer and slaughterhouses. Crushed with overwhelming guilt, Watanabe repurposed the ranch into a foster home for retired horses and welcomed Nice Nature back with open arms. Nature spent the rest of his life at Watanabe Ranch, living with other horses, including his mother, Miyuki Urakawa. His father, Nice Dancer, also lived out his life after breeding at Watanabe Ranch, but he passed in 1997. Miyuki Urakawa also passed away in 2017 at the age of 36. She is the longest lived thoroughbred mare in Japan. The same year of Miyuki's passing, the Retired Horse Association held a birthday donation for Nice Nature, who just turned 29 years old. Initially, the money raised did not even reach half of their set goal of 500,000 yen, but it successfully informed the public that Nice Nature was still well. Many fans, old and new, were surprised at how long Nature has been alive. They speculated that he was holding on to life because he was waiting for his dear friend Hideki Baba to return. If only that was possible. The donations collected grew every year, and in 2021, when Umamusume Pretty Derby was released, the donations exponentially exploded. 13.6 million yen was collected on the very first day, which was over 4 times the goal. Hilariously, that year was Nice Nature's 33rd birthday, and on the third day of the campaign, the amount raised was 33,330,000 yen. The vast majority of donations received were in the amount of 3,000 yen. By the end of the donation campaign in 2021, they had raised 35.8 million yen. In 2022 and 2023, they raised 54 million and 74 million yen, respectively. Sadly, just a few weeks after the donation period ended in 2023, Nice Nature took his last breath. The following is a retelling of the last few weeks of Nice Nature's life from Harumi Watanabe's memoir. In early May, Nature became a picky eater. He tried to eat hay and beet pulp, which is common in horses with stomach ulcers. Medication was given, but it had no effect. I performed a blood test on the 6th, but it returned with no abnormalities. On the 16th, I watched him graze for an hour and a half to make sure he could get his food down. Luckily, he seemed to be eating normally. However, during the afternoon of the 17th, he developed a high fever of 40.1 degrees, so we had a veterinarian administer intravenous drips in the evening. He must have had a really bad headache because he continuously tilted his head from side to side. I gave him some antipyretic painkillers and he calmed down for a little while. The next morning, Nature's blood test showed higher infection and inflammation levels, so I began antibiotic injections. Later that night, the painkillers stopped working and his fever was at 39.5 degrees. I think it was extremely painful because he would not stop shaking his head and scratch at the bedding all night. From 10:30 p.m., I gave him another injection of pain medication and prayed it would alleviate his pain. I was terrified that if this didn't work, there was only one other option to end his suffering. Thankfully, his pain subsided at midnight, so there was no need. His fever went down over the next few days, but he did not have an appetite. He would not put his mouth close to the ground. He seemed to have trouble maintaining an upright position. I installed a trough so he could eat and drink comfortably without having to lower his head, but he didn't touch it. On the morning of the 22nd, Nature showed signs of pain in his left front leg, but after the farrier checked his hooves, the source of pain came from the left shoulder. The veterinarian examined him the next day and they reported his muscle strength was deteriorating. He treated Nature's body with electric and water acupuncture. I think his pain went away afterwards because he started eating again by the evening, and he was able to swallow fresh grass, clovers, and even 3 carrots. His appetite did not last long, though. He stopped eating for 3 days and suddenly ate again on the 27th, but his consumption was so low he stopped producing fecal matter, and his urine was a dark reddish brown. I suspected there was blood in it, but the test showed no signs. We gave him intravenous drips for 2 hours each morning and evening. From May 26th and onwards, the veterinarian inserted a needle on the right side of his neck to provide him with as much nutrition, calories, pain relievers, and antibiotics as he needed. They also examined his body, and I was relieved to know that his intestines were moving normally. Over the next few days, more blood tests were performed, and each one came back worse than the other. His infection values continued increasing, and the antibiotics did not help. Abscesses formed inside his body, and normally you could take the horse to a clinic to remove it. But in Nice Nature's case, there was no way he could survive the trip and surgery. On the morning of May 30th, his heartbeat was significantly faster than before, and his body temperature was at 37.9 degrees. After the morning IV drip finished, he gestured as if he wanted to go outside, so we had him follow Meteor Shower to the pasture. At 11:25, Meteor Shower and Nice Nature trudged along to the middle of the pasture. As soon as they stopped, Nature laid down to rest his tired body. He tried to get up several times, but he just did not have the strength to do so. I immediately called the veterinarian over as I covered his body with a large insect-repelling suit to block out the sun and draped 3 wet towels on him. The veterinarian rushed over, and after a brief inspection, he reported that Nature's gums were whitish purple and his pulse was weakening. He was at his limit. We got on the phone with the Retired Horse Association and explained the situation as well as our decision. They respected our choice. We wanted Nice Nature to leave as painlessly as possible, so the 3-step method for euthanasia was performed. It involves sedation, anesthesia, and finally, the drug that stops cardiopulmonary function. In most cases, emphasis on financial cost takes priority, so many horses are only given step 1 and 3, or sometimes only step 3. I have known this horse since his birth, and there was absolutely no way I would make him go through that. After the sedative was injected, Nice Nature's stiff expression relaxed, and he was at ease. A few minutes later, the vet injected the anesthetic, and we all watched Nice Nature lose consciousness. Once he stopped moving, we injected the last medicine. Nice Nature quietly passed away at 12:40 p.m. He spent his first year of life on this pasture, and he left this world on this pasture. I laid down next to his still body and recorded a video. I wanted to share with everyone the last beautiful scene Nice Nature saw. A gentle breeze blew across the blue sky with birds chirping in the background. Even though he endured a lot of pain in his last days, I think he lived a happy life, and we were able to send him off with the happy end he deserved. Nice Nature was immediately buried the next day at Watanabe Ranch Cemetery. His final resting place would be next to his mother and father. Additionally, Nature's younger brother and sister, his daughter and friend, Saint Missile, are all buried nearby. After a long life of 35 years and 44 days, Nice Nature can rest in peace with his family and was finally reunited with Hideki Baba in the afterlife. After his passing, the birthday donation was renamed to the Nice Nature Memorial Donation. Fans continued pouring in their support and raised 74.8 million yen in 2024, which is the highest amount ever raised. In total, Nice Nature's donations have raised roughly 242 million yen. The money is used for fostering and caring for retired racehorses. Because of everyone's love for Nice Nature, dozens of retired horses have been given a second life. The power of love is truly incredible. Building connections, giving a small gesture of thanks, or simply being kind can completely transform another's life. It's easy to get lost in your own world. Don't forget that your existence affects everyone around you. Take a moment and enjoy the company of others. Make some memories. You might just change someone's life one day, just like Nice Nature did.